Well, the Vertigo Theater Company is just a few years old, but it's taken on a challenging mission to present productions that, to quote the company, expose both the audience and the artists to experiences beyond their comfort zones. Take, for example, life among queer and transgender people living on the Hudson Piers in the 1980s. Hardly anyone's idea of a comfort zone.
But it is the premise of Vertigo's new play called Street Children, which is currently running at the New Ohio Theater on Christopher Street, just a couple of blocks from the river and those piers. Joining us now is Vertigo Theater's artistic director and the author of Street Children, as well as a Brooklyn native. Gotta sneak that in. Pia Scala-Zankel, welcome to BK Live. Also with us is Cece Suazo, Cece Suazo, a member of the cast. Thanks for joining us today, Cece.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry I killed her name.
Don't worry.
We'll make it right.
I heard it so many times.
Okay, so it's awesome to have you ladies here joining us today, Brooklyn natives as it is. Pia, can you tell us a little bit about your motivation behind writing this piece?
Sure. I grew up in New York City during the late 80s, and it was an amazing time for New York, a very different time than what we're seeing now, and also a lot of similarities actually now, which is what we're finding. And I've always been inspired by the community, their courage, their bonds. These kids would go down to the piers during that time and would find each other during one of the most dangerous times that we could talk about in 1988 in New York City history. And they found each other, they supported each other, they created incredible beauty, an incredible culture, which has its oown language, its own...
And ripple effects that we are still seeing today.
That is right. Yeah. So the ballroom scene, they found their families, which is what all of us want and try and do. And they had house mothers and house fathers, and they protected each other and tried to keep each other safe and lift each other up. And so I was always attracted to that and inspired by that, and still am very much.
Yeah. So Cece, bringing that experience to the performance space, especially working with performers who are of transgender experience, some of them, what is that like to be a part of the cast and giving people authenticity and not just a portrayal?
I think it was extremely important as far as the casting to hire people that identified as being gender fluid or non-binary or of a trans experience to keep the authenticity in the storyline. Have been one of those street kids in the West Village in the 80s. We
heard you were a mother.
Yes, of one of Ballroom's most prestigious house, the House of La Beja. To see that story being told by a playwright that didn't run, you know, in the streets around that time, but knew
and respected,
respected the story was just, it was simply amazing. When I first read the script, and I just said, did she follow?
Right, like,
did she follow me with the camera? Did she follow some of us with a camera? Like who's in her ear? Who's giving her this information?
Gotcha.
So, Pia, how important was it to for this story to be presented not only with LGBTQ cast, but in the production as well to add to the authenticity?
Oh, to me, it's the number one. Was one of the number one goals of this production. I mean, as we've spoken about, I obviously needed to educate myself as well. I am not somebody who can appropriate that story, those stories. That's a beautiful history that they have spent a lot of time cultivating, and so I didn't want to step in there and appropriate anything. And so it was very, very important to me to make sure that the people that we cast were people who had been there during that time, So I was so happy to find her because it was an amazing thing. She actually is now also, she was a historian also, you know, so that she could also educate even the younger
the recipients
cast.
of all that
Yes,
legacy.
it's the recipients of all this history, of all of this that they've paved the way for.
So Cece, ahead of coming out to see the show, which everyone should, because you only have until the 17th before it's gone,
Yes.
what do you want people to walk away being aware of that they might not have known before they got their butt in the seat?
You don't have to be LGBT to relate to the story. The story hits home for everyone, for everyone, especially in this time.
Yeah.
Look what we're going through currently at this time. So I want everyone to leave with a sense of relief that everything is going to be okay if you just believe.
Yeah.
If you believe and you believe in the higher power, you'll see the light at the end of the tunnel.
From the bad old days until now, whatever days we're in at the moment.
You know, I just want to add this. I read a quote by you from an interview. They said, "I seem to always write about raw and painful heartache combined with fierce and childlike innocence."
Yes, that is, and to me, that is the story. I mean, this story is about resilience of people and finding your home, finding your belonging, finding your brothers and sisters, you know, and the resilience and the courage that it takes, along with incredible heartbreak and circumstances. The stakes could not possibly be higher, that is always something that I seem to be drawn to.
All right. We've plumb run up to the end of the show. Make sure you find yourself at Vertigo Theater's production of Street Children at the New Ohio.
Yes.
Through the 17th. Tickets.
www.vertigotheater.org. Please come.
Vertigotheater.org.
Great website.
You have your assignment. All right, to the 17th.